There's a reason the most unforgettable men leave an imprint that lingers long after they're gone. The ones women remember in silence, who cross their minds at 2 a.m. without warning, who spark a strange ache that even time doesn't heal. It's not about looks, it's not about wealth, it's not even about charisma. It's something more elusive. It's mystery. Real, raw, intentional mystery. These men don't operate like everyone else. They don't give everything away just because someone's interested. They don't speak just to fill silence. They don't reveal their every emotion the second they feel it. They hold back not because they're scared, but because they understand restraint is power. They know that the minute a woman believes she knows everything, the excitement fades. That unknown, that not quite sure feeling, that's where desire lives. These men never allow themselves to become predictable. While other men fall into the trap of comfort and overexposure, the mysterious man remains composed, always revealing just enough to stay human, but never so much that he becomes common. Most men think attention is the win. They think that once she says, "I like you," the game is over. They open up, they confess, they explain, they text too much, they share too soon. And slowly, without realizing it, they drain the very tension that made her feel alive. That tension, the uncertainty, the curiosity, the thrill of not knowing what comes next, it's addictive. But the moment she feels she's solved you, the spell breaks. And it doesn't matter how kind, attractive, or emotionally available you are. Once you become an open book, the mystery is gone. And with it, her fascination. The truth is, women don't fall in love with certainty. They fall in love with curiosity, with the way a man makes them feel when she doesn't have all the answers. And the man who keeps her mind working, who holds back just enough to let her imagination take over, becomes unforgettable. That's what most guys never understand. They think the more they share, the more she'll connect. But connection built on overexposure is weak. It's forced. True connection happens in layers. When you leave space, when you drop just enough of your story to spark a deeper question, when you show her a corner of your mind but never hand her the blueprint, the mysterious man is not aloof. He's not emotionally distant. He's intentional. He knows his value. He doesn't rush to prove himself. He allows her to lean in, to wonder, to chase clarity. And in doing so, he creates a gravitational pull she can't shake. When you're a mystery, you become a story that never ends. A puzzle with just one missing piece. A presence that stays with her even when you're gone. You're not withholding because of failure, selective because of purpose. And that purpose, that self-mastery, that emotional composure, it's what separates you from the rest. You don't become unforgettable by being everything all at once. You become unforgettable by staying just out of reach. Just enough to keep her coming back for more. Women don't crave predictable comfort the way most men think they do. What they truly desire is emotional gravity, the kind of pull that doesn't come from words, but from presence. Certainty, while safe, kills excitement. It gives her nowhere to go, nothing to figure out, nothing to feel her way through, but emotional gravity that pulls her in without her understanding why. It's not about being confusing, it's about being felt more than you're explained. It's about letting your silence say what your words never could. When you give her everything too quickly, your thoughts, your feelings, your passion has nothing left to uncover. Her imagination shuts down. Her emotional investment fades. But when you hold a piece of yourself back, when you reveal yourself slowly, in layers, it creates a magnetic tension that keeps her locked in. Let her wonder what you're thinking. Let her sit with the silence after a deep moment. Don't rush to fill every gap. That gap is where desire grows. She doesn't need to hear your every emotion to feel close. She needs to earn it. And that earning, that slow uncovering, is what makes the connection unforgettable. A man who's too eager to be understood becomes emotionally cheap. A man who reveals selectively becomes emotionally rich. The more you let her imagination participate, the more she becomes emotionally invested. That's the secret. You don't win her with volume, you win her with depth. And depth is only felt when it's not immediately obvious. Emotional gravity keeps her leaning in, wondering what layer of you she sees next. It makes her think about you when you're not around. It creates longing without effort. That's not manipulation, it's mastery. It's how you stay in her mind without even trying. Mystery isn't about being distant, it's about being unreadable. A man who's unreadable doesn't need to vanish to create tension. He simply moves with intention. He engages, he connects, he laughs, but always with a sense that there's more beneath the surface. He's open, but not exposed. He reveals, but never fully. That balance is what keeps her engaged. She thinks she knows him, then he shares a piece of his past that shifts her entire perspective. He disappears for a day, not out of neglect, but because he's building something, and when he returns, he's centered, focused, and present. That unpredictability creates an edge, a tension she can't shake. She doesn't want full access. She wants the thrill of discovery. Most men become predictable the moment they feel secure. They mistake comfort for connection and routine for romance. They tell everything too soon, hoping transparency will deepen the bond. But the truth is, overexposure flattens desire. A man who shares every emotion on demand becomes emotionally boring. There's no chase, no depth, no intrigue. But a man who maintains his edges, who keeps a part of himself sacred, becomes something different. He becomes rare. He becomes valuable. It's not about deception, it's about discipline. Share in fragments. Speak when it matters. Let her earn her way into your world, one moment at a time. And as she does, make sure there's always another layer beneath the one she just uncovered. She should feel like she's getting closer, but never arriving. Like she's figured you out, only to realize there's more. That ongoing discovery, that unfolding of depth, that's what keeps her addicted. You don't need to be distant to be mysterious. You just need to be disciplined enough not to give everything away. Let her chase the next piece. That's how you stay unforgettable. Mystery lives in emotional sovereignty, the ability to feel deeply without being ruled by those feelings. Most men chase clarity. They want to be understood, validated, seen, but that need makes them predictable. It makes them reactive. A man who has mastered himself doesn't seek constant emotional affirmation. He's grounded in his own presence. He loves, but doesn't cling. He connects, but doesn't explain himself away. That calm under pressure, that stillness when emotions run high, that's what sets him apart. When a woman sees a man who doesn't flinch when tested, who doesn't break when she pulls away, she feels something primal. It's not fear, it's respect. Most men don't realize that their emotional reactivity is what kills desire. They try to fix, chase, explain. They let her storms drag them into chaos. But the man who remains steady becomes a pillar. He doesn't withdraw to punish, he simply refuses to be controlled. And that refusal makes her lean in harder. She wonders what he's thinking. She questions her assumptions. She starts chasing a clarity he doesn't hand out freely. That's the edge. Not being cruel, but being composed. Not being detached, but being untouchable. When she can't read you, she keeps watching. When she can't shake you, she keeps showing up. Emotional mastery means you remain in control, even when emotions run high. You're not distant, you're discerning. You give when it serves the moment, not when you're cornered. And in doing so, you create tension that never dies. She respects what she can't dominate. She desires what she can't predict. And that unpredictability, rooted in strength, keeps her emotionally engaged long after the honeymoon fades. That's the power of stillness, of control, of knowing exactly who you are, and never letting anyone shake that. You don't become a mystery by hiding, you become one by constantly evolving. Predictability is the death of desire. A woman begins to disconnect the moment she feels there's nothing new to discover. That's why you never let her fully map your soul. You remain in motion, shifting subtly, revealing layers only when they've been earned. One day you're playful and light, the next you're reflective and quiet. One week you're deep in your mission, the next you're learning something new. This isn't inconsistency, it's richness. It's the depth of a man who refuses to be boxed in. She thinks she knows you, but just as she settles into that thought, you show her a new side, a different edge, a hidden strength. Control your presence digitally, emotionally, physically. You don't need to broadcast your every move. You don't post constantly, you don't explain your silence. You let it speak for you. The man who is always available becomes emotionally cheap. The man who chooses when and how he appears becomes rare. And in a world drowning in access, rarity is power. Let her wonder where you are. Let her feel your absence. Let her chase understanding instead of you chasing approval. That's the difference between a man she dates and a man who haunts her thoughts. You build a world that doesn't revolve around her, it includes her, but it existed before her and will continue without her. That emotional independence is magnetic. It tells her you're full, not seeking completion. She's not your savior, she's your witness. And that makes